I got to say, mates, this is a lot less enjoyable when we're not wearing the same clothes.
We've actually gone sort of opposite, haven't we? We didn't plan that, but...
What, to go opposite?
Yeah.
I was going to say, we definitely planned to wear the Pels kit last week.
Yes.
I've started this complaining like it's not something we can control. Like, there's nothing stopping us wearing the Pels stuff every episode.
It's not like a typical an audio issue or one of the 10,000 issues.
Don't you dare jinx it.
No,
if there's no episode this week, it's because Ashwin's jinxed it. You can blame him. It traces back to this exact point.
To this moment,
yeah.
this point.
Hey, mate.
There you go, mate.
I'm good. How you going?
Not too bad.
Episode 31. Well and truly in the 30s now.
Well and truly, yes.
Well and truly. We established ourselves in the 30s. Not that we know what that's like, having made 25 and 24 as career highs.
According to my cricket, yeah.
Yeah, which is the only way we can base it off, I think. Again, we've all had imaginary innings.
We have, yeah.
PlayStation and innings don't count.
I would argue otherwise.
Well,
what games are we talking?
I'm glad you've asked, because we played Qriket 19 on the weekend, didn't we?
We certainly did.
It was a much quieter weekend, having the Pels had a bye last week, so it didn't really have as much going on. So Asher and I had a rare non-podcast hangout, which was actually thoroughly enjoyable. And had nothing else on, so I was having a couple of beers. We whacked the PS4 on, playing Qriket 19. And I don't think I've played that in, fucking God knows how long.
I think it was... the PlayStation tells you, doesn't it? Like the last time you...
Yeah, I think it was over a year, wasn't it?
Something like
that, if not more. And didn't take long to figure out why it had been so long since I played it, had it?
It was... there were a few... I don't know. I don't want to, diss... I don't want to diss these... The Red Ant Studios who make the game, because
Big Ant, isn't it? Big Ant Studios.
Big Ant, is it? Well, I've dissed them by not even knowing their name.
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say anything.
I mean, they're like the only big sort of gaming producing company in Australia. So
yeah.
I wouldn't want them to stop. Like, they created the AFL game as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they're giving us games. So
I guess the AFL games cop less flack because there's not as much. There's nothing to compare it to.
Correct.
But I do have a solution. What's the best cricket game of all time? There is a correct answer here.
Qriket 07.
Qriket 07. Qriket 07 is by far and away the best cricket game ever played. So the solution is simple.
Yep.
EA Sports, get off your fucking high horse.
Wow.
And just make another cricket game.
When was that their last cricket game?
Qriket 07 was their last one, yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah. And I still get the old PS2 out every now and then and play Qriket 07. Just Qriket 07.
Qriket 07 was a phenomenal game. Yeah. How good... That was the first time that... I'm going to nerd out about this. Can I nerd out about it?
Go for it,
It was the first time they had, like... full control of back foot, front foot shots where you could use the left joystick to go on the front foot or back foot and use the right joystick to select where you wanted to hit the ball. You could control how hard you wanted to hit the ball in that way. And it was just amazing.
It was a game that was so far ahead of its time. And we've gone backwards. So EA Sports, I'm fucking calling you out. Just remake Qriket 07. I don't care.
Yeah, just literally remake it, update the teams and the squads, keep the same graphics. I'm fine.
I'm so fine with that. It's not the graphics. I don't care about the graphics. All these Qriket 19, Qriket 22, it's like, oh my God, it actually looks like the players.
The graphics, yeah.
The mechanics are awful. You play like you hold down the buttons to play a pull shot,
yeah,
and it goes for a cut shot and then hits the back of the bat and goes for 6. It's so stupid.
And every bowler has the exact same bowling action as well. It's like...
I didn't think that had triggered me as much as it did.
I'm just glad that we had some time off and from had the bye, but obviously enjoyed ourselves thoroughly and didn't get too stressed out playing cricket.
Didn't get too stressed out playing. No, we did. Although we did play a game as were we the Thai women team?
Yeah, against
the Papua New Guinea
team.
Women team, and we lost.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got smashed.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll move on.
So yeah, sorry guys, we got a bit. There hasn't been a lot going on this week with no cricket, which is why.
Should we ask the listeners what's your favorite? I mean, I don't know about like favorite sports video game of all time, or should I say? I mean, I feel like favorite cricket video game of all time. If anyone says anything other than Qriket 07, I feel like it'll be a bit.
Yeah, I could get behind. Was it Ricky Ponting?
Ricky Ponting,
Qriket 2005, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that being second place because realistically, like nothing comes close to Qriket 07.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, okay, ask it again because you asked it so beautifully.
I forget what the wording that I used, but let us know what your favorite sporting video games are. Regardless of console or whatnot, just what are your favourite sporting video games?
Does skateboarding count? Like, can we have Tony Hawk as a?
Yeah, sure. Skateboarding's in the Olympics.
It is. So, this is not how I thought this episode was going to go so far.
How did you think?
I don't know. Maybe I didn't think. Maybe that was the problem. But okay. Speaking in the words of I don't know how to say this artist's name. Is it Maya? She's got a new track with Flume, Say Nothing. And in those, part of the lyrics there, she says, let's run it back. So I'm going to pause, and it's going to play right now if you're watching this on an Instagram reel. Magic. All right, that'll do.
Run it back.
Alrighty, so running it back, there is less and less cricket happening at the moment. Still a bit going on, but should we kick off Run It Back with the headlines as we usually do?
Yep.
So the Under-19s Cricket World Cup final happened.
Yes.
The whole tournament wrapped up. England versus India. India won by 4 wickets with 14 balls remaining. To be honest, probably a closer game than it should have been after rolling a team for 189 in a 50-over game.
It is a final. Nerves always get to you, but they have managed to hold their nerves. I'm pretty sure that's like the 4th or 5th Under-19 World Cup that they've won in a row. Like
India,
they are a force to be reckoned with in that.
The amount of cricketing talent in that country is ridiculous.
Not just now, but for years to come. Yeah. Yes. So that happened. That's right. Australia we were talking about this.
We were talking about this. Yeah.
Unfortunately, Australia didn't get through to the final. They did play in the 3rd place playoff against Afghanistan. And look, there's only one thing I'll bring up here.
I want to know what this is going to be. For anyone who actually listens, you know exactly where this is going from this point onwards.
Correct. So, the last few times that we've had our My Mates Multi segment, I've mentioned a certain youngster in the Australian Under-19s squad by the name of Nivedhan Radhakrishnan.
I love the way you say that. I will never get sick of hearing you say that name.
Really? Thanks, mate.
Don't make that weird with that look.
What?
Don't look at me like
that. Okay. he is an ambidextrous. I'm not sure if you've heard, but he's an ambidextrous spinner.
I think I have heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, he bowls with his right and left hand.
Yeah.
Last few weeks, I've been saying in my multi, one leg of my multi, I'm saying he will take at least one wicket with both bowling arms, with his right arm and left arm.
So he's ambidextrous.
Yes,
Yeah, right. I think I remember reading that.
It clicks. It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So I did that for a couple of weeks, and then I failed to do that last week because I thought, it is a bit of, it's funny when you do a multi twice in a row, I think.
Well, yeah, you did it again because it didn't get up because he didn't play.
Correct. And then he didn't play again because...
we're not going to talk about it.
But he had COVID.
He had COVID, yeah.
And then he took 3 for last game, 2 wickets with his right arm, 1 with his left arm, and he hit 60 odd to win the game as well. So there you go.
For those who can't remember, it wasn't in his multi last week.
It was not in my multi. So if I have any advice to my future self, it would be if your multi doesn't get up 2 weeks in a row, just persist, you know?
I believe the term is gamble responsibly, and you're saying the opposite of that. There you go. Don't try this at home, kids.
Back it in.
Back it in. Run it, back it in.
I'm gonna watch you take that out of context completely and make a headline or make a reel or something out of it. Back it in.
No comment. How dare you throw such accusations around? I would never do that to you. This has been chaotic. This is great. Do you want to keep it going, mate? Keep it going. Come on.
All right. So we've covered the Under-19s World Cup briefly. I want to hear you say it. The
Washes.
The Washes. I'm still yet to hear anyone else call it that.
It's on Twitter. Get on Twitter.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
They.
I've seen it. Yeah. I've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm yet to see anyone call it that because I am very, very active on social media.
Oh, the most active.
Correct. But the Aussies have come away with the Washes.
Oh, nicely done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yet another series win to a dominant team. Really, the Australian women's cricket team is absolutely on fire. Talia McGrath deservedly won player of the series.
Absolutely.
We've been going on about Talia McGrath for a while.
We fucking love Talia McGrath.
Absolutely.
Shout out, big fan of the show.
Yeah. Oh,
that's something we say. Oh, getting ready for footy season with comments like that. We don't say that in cricket season at all.
Yeah, we haven't said that in a while.
No, we don't have any like friends of the show either. We need to work out our cricket friends of the show.
We need to get some friends.
Yeah. Yeah. He's right though. He's right. I'm going to keep it going. This has been madness. Yeah, this has actually been crazy. All right, so another story that happened in the week. We're obviously doing the headline part to run it back.
Yep.
How do I say his last name? Mohammed, is it Hosnain?
I've heard people say Mohammed Hosnain, but I don't know.
Well, a young Pakistani bowler. He played for the... Is he Pakistani?
Yes.
Okay, I thought I got it right and you were looking at me like that. Is that why you were laughing? You're a fuck.
I saw that. I saw that the fear in your eyes.
No, I actually forgot about it until I saw you smiling. I'm like, oh no, I've done it again. But I haven't. Anyway, he's been banned for an illegal bowling action.
Yes.
So there was an assessment that uncovered that the elbow extension for his good length delivery, his full length delivery, his slow bouncer and his bouncer all exceeded the 15-degree limits. Apparently he's ranged from like 17 to 24, so comfortably out of that.
Yep.
I have a question though, because I wanted this and I was trying to look it up and I couldn't really find anything on it. What happens to those, like to historical games that have been affected by an illegal action? Because obviously there's games that may have been affected, because his first game for the Thunder, he was 3 for none at one point.
Off the first over, I think.
Yeah.
3 for none, yeah.
So you could argue that might have ended a bit differently. And then there's obviously batting averages that are affected, that kind of thing. What happens there?
That's such a good question. I feel like this will switch on, but
sorry.
No, it's fine. I actually have no idea. Is this like what do I think should happen, or what actually happens?
I didn't have an agenda when I asked it. I was more curious. But
yeah,
what should happen?
I'm curious as well. Yeah.
Let us know. Please get in touch. If you know what happens when a bowl is banned for an illegal bowling action, what happens to the games that were affected? Now that I've asked that, I know it's nothing because they don't go back, do they?
They don't.
What should happen?
Yeah. Because
what should happen?
When I think of previous bowlers, so Sunil Narayan, I know Arjun Nair for the Thunder as well.
Yeah.
A few of them sort of, there was no one went back in time and changed the stats or changed the results of any of the previous game.
I guess when you open that can of worms, where does it stop?
Yeah. So what exact impact did the player have? They took 3 wickets. Okay, so how do they then change the rest of the scorecard around it? Like, you can't just like create an alternate timeline and be like, if this didn't happen, then that would happen, and then Like
That was the most subtle community reference yet, I think. This is the darkest timeline. But yeah, it's like there almost needs to be like a Duckworth Lewis for illegality. Anyway, that is one of the headlines that happened in the last week, but it's clearly not the biggest.
No, it's definitely not the biggest.
What happened, mate? Please tell the lovely audience what's gone on.
I think before we get into it, I think it's just like sort of preface it with, we don't, on this show, we don't usually talk about stuff like this, I think. Is that fair to say? Like,
in terms of what, opinions?
Yeah, we're not I mean, we obviously have opinions, but we don't usually fully sort of share all of our opinions on everything that happens in the sporting world.
No.
We try to steer clear from certain things.
By saying we're not going to talk about it.
But I think there's no dancing around Justin Langer resigning as the coach of the Australian cricket team. Obviously made lots of headlines this week.
It's foreshadowing for my mate's multi there. Yeah, we'll get to that when we get to it.
I know we've obviously talked about this off air
quite extensively,
and I know your thoughts on it. So I'll give my take on it first, and then I'll hand it over to you, I guess.
All right. I mean, I know your thoughts on it too, but yeah, go. It's just an opinion. It's just opinions, right? Get ready to cancel him. Yeah. Us.
Just my 2 cents. Just give my 2 cents.
All right, yeah.
2 cents. Who came up with the expression 2 cents? Like 2 cents doesn't even, it can't even buy you anything these days anyway.
Or is that the whole point of it? Because it's not worth much.
It's worthless. So I'm saying I'm going to give you my 2 cents, and then I'm going to, basically what I'm saying is going to be worthless. I
wonder why we've never given opinions before.
Is it clear that I'm?
Is it clear that I'm dancing around? Come on, dive in. Come on.
I think my opinion on this is purely based on what happens behind closed doors, the truth of what sort of happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the dressing room, on the tour bus, in the training nets, all that sort of thing. All that in the Australian cricket team. My only window into that world is the test, the documentary that came. I'm not sure if the listeners would have watched it, but
I'm sure a good number of them would have.
Around the same time of the Last Dance and all the sports docos coming through. There was a documentary on the Australian cricket team, and it basically took place from Sandpaper Gate all the way through to Australia, sort of
retaining the ashes in England. Yeah,
and lots of it did focus on Justin Langer, the entire team, but Justin Langer's role in sort of taking Australian cricket from quite a dark place and sort of guiding them through. With that documentary, I think everyone has a motive, and I can't say, I don't know if that documentary, in terms of bias, making it as well. All I can say is from that documentary, if I take what I saw to be true, I don't think of it as complete, reality television, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't think of it as completely fabricated and scripted. If it is, true, that's all we can do. We can take it as truth. I don't understand the tough coaching or being hard on players, or the intense criticism that Justin Langer has been copying in that context. Again, though, I don't know the full story. All I can do is make judgments based on what I see. But I will say, I think it only further adds to the scrutiny around Cricket Australia. And
100%.
The listeners probably know, we didn't really bring up the whole Payne issue earlier, and like we said, we usually don't delve too deep into that stuff. But if you take that example, it was obviously handled in a very interesting way. This again, I think if Cricket Australia had a second chance, had an opportunity to go back in time, I very much doubt they would have handled both of those scenarios in the same way that they did. I think I'd also echo Michael Clark's sentiments about Pat Cummins, because I know Pat Cummins has been copping a lot of heat.
Yeah. I think what Mitchell Johnson said about him was probably a bit unfair.
Yeah. I think he's obviously, the captain of the team at the moment. This is not a new thing. It didn't just start last week. There was plenty of player angst last year when Tim Payne was captain, and Pat Cummins had nothing to do with that. So I highly, highly doubt that this is a Cummins operation to overthrow Justin Langer as coach or anything ridiculous like that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone thinks that, surely.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think I feel for him being in a position where his hands are probably tied to a certain extent, and he's probably trying to please a lot of people. When you're trying to please multiple people, it's always tough, and I can absolutely, I feel for him in that sense.
Yeah.
But look, that's just my take. Now I'll let you rip, because I know you have a lot more to say about it.
Well, look, I think your take on it is very reserved, and I think that sums you up as a person. And
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a much more emotional person.
I usually, if there is the opportunity to be silent about anything, I usually take that silent route.
Yeah.
As you can probably tell by how active I am on social media. But
and how much you were dancing around giving your opinion just then.
Yes.
So look, I think it's one of the worst decisions that Cricket Australia have made in a long, long time. I do have a lot of thoughts on this. I've actually written quite a lot of it down to make sure that
let it rip.
Yeah, what I said, well, what I want to say is said. So I've seen a lot of comments saying things like, "Oh, it was a similar situation when Mickey Arthur was ran out of the job." And no one seemed to care. I'd say it's more relevant to look at how Darren Lehmann ended his stint, because he was everyone's mate. He was real pally with everyone in the team.
Yeah.
And that led to Cricket Australia having the worst scandal in recent history with Sandpaper Gate, as you've just touched on.
Yep.
So Justin Langer inherits a team in tatters, completely changes the outlook, complete overhaul of its values, as we saw in the test, as you mentioned. They win an overseas... No, they don't win an overseas, but they retain the Ashes in England for the first time in however many years. They win the T20 World Cup. They beat Pakistan, New Zealand, and then smash England over here. Yeah, okay, they lose to India, but, he's gotten them to the number one test team in the world again.
Yeah.
It sounds to me... And again, just my opinion, it sounds to me like the players don't like being coached.
Yeah.
There's something that they dislike, about the coach. The impression I get is that Lehmann was not tough enough.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we've heard Langer's probably too tough or too intense.
Yeah.
But it's like, are the players blaming... Two things there. Are the players blaming the coach for every problem that they have? And how can you be too intense when it comes to international sport
on the world stage?
On the world stage.
Yeah.
It's so, to me, it's so silly. Like, the more I think about it, the more disbelief. Cricket Australia, saying that they offered Langer a 6-month contract extension.
Yeah.
It says, it won't be extended beyond that. To me, that translates as we've offered Justin a disrespectfully low contract and fully expected his resignation due to our carefully orchestrated lowballing tactics.
Yeah.
We wanted Justin out as coach, and we feel like we've played it perfectly in order to spin this situation to suit us.
Yeah, create a send-off, a happy send-off or something.
It's so stupid. So he could have won the test series in Pakistan, the first time they've toured there in however many years that's been. And, he could have hypothetically defended the T20 World Cup title.
Yep.
And then guaranteed to have been axed. No one really fucking walked away.
Yeah. Well, I think I think everyone's agreeing. I assume so anyway. This is nothing to do with performance or results, because like you've mentioned all the accolades and what he's achieved. It's got nothing to do with that. No one's sitting there being like, okay, how many wins have you got? How many losses? This, that. It's got nothing to do with that. It is completely separate thing. So,
yeah, it's just so poorly handled. You said Cricket Australia is just such a rabble, and it's such an unjust way for a legend of Australian cricket to exit the international stage.
Yeah.
So with that ending in mind, we're going to run it back through some endings, some stories that didn't quite end the way that they would have planned. Not necessarily scandals, various endings, various situations.
Yeah, like didn't quite go to script, I guess.
Yeah.
Fairy tale ending.
Do you want to kick us off, Matt?
I will. We do quite a bit of stretching and reaching on this show. And this might be a slight stretch, but...
We love stretches.
We do. We need to do more of them. But I'm going to say it anyway, just because I want to talk about this bloke, because I love him. An absolute legend of New Zealand cricket, Ross Taylor. We absolutely love the man.
Big fan of the show as well, I've heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, he is a friend of the show. He is an absolute friend of the show.
Oh, absolutely. Ross Taylor. We did briefly mention that I think on a previous episode, that he played his last test against Bangladesh in that series. Took a wicket with his last ball.
Yeah.
I just want to talk quickly about his career, just because I feel like we're not going to get an opportunity to do it again, and I really want. I just want to talk about Ross Taylor.
Please do. Please do.
112 test matches, averaging about 45 with the bat. He started off his career as a bit of a slasher, in the one-day game, and I remember watching one of his press conference when he did call his retirement late last year. He was when he announced it, he sort of said what he believed to be his greatest achievement was his idea, or what the story that was written for him initially was just to be a one-day player, to be a slasher, and he's like, I 100% could have seen that happening, could have averaged about 30 odd, played just one days. And he, I think Martin Crowe had a big influence on him, on his career as well. But he completely changed his game style to around Test cricket. And he takes that, he's got a lot of pride in that, in changing his game to do that. Was always hungry for runs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He made a 290 odd in Australia once.
Yeah, I remember that.
Just brilliant run fest. He was a treat to watch, particularly square of the wicket. He had a trademark square drive. I'm not sure if you remember, but it would be just quite low. The bat would be angled, and it would just fly through through point and cover. Absolutely love the bloke. And also the partnership, mate. Quite often when you're comparing great partnerships for a particular team, right, it gets a bit contentious. You've got Langer and Hayden, Langer and Ponting and Hayden. You're like, which of those is the best or whatever?
Yeah. Watson and Katic.
Ooh, there you go. I want to see the stats now. But I tell you what, there is it is crystal clear. It's unanimous. There is no competition for partnerships in New Zealand. The Kane Williamson Ross Taylor partnership is the greatest, and clearly,
and then some,
greatest batting partnership New Zealand cricket has ever had. And yeah, it's quite sad to see it end. All things have to end. The main reason I started sort of bringing this up, and this is how I'm trying to sort of bring it back to the show.
Mate, anything works. Anything works as long as it's not going to script.
Yeah,
it suits. It suits.
As long as it's
anyway. We love a fucking stretch anyway. So stretch away, my friend. He
did announce that the one day series, sort of Australia was going to play. New Zealand were going to play a one day series against Australia. That would sort of be his last tour here. But obviously, Border restrictions, COVID.
Not going to talk about it.
No, definitely not. But that happened. So that changed plans. So unfortunately, they're never going to see him again in the country playing. He is going to play. I tell you what, it is kind of awkward because he announced his Test retirement, right? And he was like, I'm going to play the one days in Australia.
Yeah.
But he sort of chose that over another Test series against South Africa. So New Zealand is going to play in a Test series against South Africa.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen at some point in time. But I personally, if I wrote the script, I would have wanted him to play in that series because South Africa is the only team that he hasn't scored a century against.
It would have been a very, very fitting way for him to go.
What a fairy tale.
Especially with the pride of him having turned himself into a Test batsman.
Absolutely. It would have been the ideal way to go. But things don't always go to plan, do they, mate?
Speaking of not going to plan, from one of your favourites to one of my favourites, Kevin Peterson.
Yes.
To say that this man had a rocky career would be an understatement.
Yes.
Very much two sides to this bloke. On one side, comfortably one of England's greatest ever batters. Well over 13,000 international runs, 3,200s, 196s.
Really?
Which is a good start. Excitement machine. On the other side, this is a bloke who lost the captaincy after numerous run-ins with the ECB. He was dropped after the Texgate scandal that allegedly insulted Andrew Strauss and gave insight to his mates in the South African opposition.
Yeah.
He was very much the scapegoat of the 2013-14 Ashes whitewash, despite being England's leading run scorer in that series. He spoke about the alleged bullying from Matt Pryor, Graham Swan, Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad. Very much allegedly had control of the dressing room. They'd cop abuse for simple things such as misfields and drop catches.
Yeah.
Which I can't relate to because if people drop catches off my bowling, I'm the one getting bullied.
Really?
Yeah, it's a really bizarre kind of situation.
You can't relate to it.
Can't relate there, KP.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know we have a lot in common, mate, but yeah, I just can't. I can't really relate on that one. But I mean, that arguably caused him to keep more to himself. I don't know if you read his book. It was a very interesting read.
Like post-career book?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Not long after he ended up retiring. Kind of more him keeping to himself, you could argue, added to him and ending up as the scapegoat of that series. And even Andrew Strauss, who most of the run-ins seemed to involve him, admitted in, I think it was early 2020, so well after he'd retired, that he would have not done things differently, but he made a mistake in the way that he handled KP.
Yeah.
Saying that he probably didn't come through enough, didn't work enough with him. There's a time when people were close within the team that got that got dropped or retired.
Yeah. So he would have done things differently.
He says that, yeah. So he kind of sowed the seeds for what was to come down the track. And I remember at the time, it was in his book as well, like he felt like he had a lot of cricket left in the tank. So I don't want to put any words into his mouth, but I don't think it's too ridiculous to say that he would have backed himself in for a mentor type role for the likes of Joe Root and Ben Stokes, who were relatively fresh in that team at the time. But unhappily ever after, it wasn't to be. Wasn't to be, unfortunately. Probably got time for a couple of honourable mentions. Yeah. Weird thing to talk about, to say honourable mentions given the topic, but touch on a couple quickly.
Yeah. So James Taylor.
That is not a story that went to script.
It's not. It's quite sad. Retired due to a heart condition, age 26. 26 after averaging 42 in the ODIs for England.
Yeah. I remember he was pretty close to cementing his spot in the Test side as well.
Yeah.
So, that's quite sad. And then another one, a dishonourable mention, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah, just, Tim Payne, we've mentioned it before, the team that he inherited after Sandpaper Gate. He captained Australia through, out of a dark period. And we know how it ended. It's definitely not how he would have scripted it. He was very much the face of the new values of the Australian cricket team, and yeah, that kind of didn't end the way that he would have scripted either.
Definitely not.
I don't really want to talk about that much more, if that's all right.
No. Playing on to get forward.
Get forward, yes. Now, we mentioned this a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
Might have been last week, I can't remember. They all kind of blur into one. We mentioned who we'd like to see in the Aussie Test squad.
Yes.
For the tour of Pakistan. That has now been announced, hasn't it, mate?
It has. I think it got announced yesterday or something.
Yeah, yesterday or today, I can't remember.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know what days are.
Any interest from you? Any interesting picks?
A couple of interesting ones. Did you want to read them out just quickly?
Yeah, so we've got, Captain Paddy Cummins, Ashton Agar comes in, Scotty Boland, Alex Carey, Cameron Green, Marcus Harris, Josh Hazelwood, Travis Head, Josh Inglis gets a call up.
I like that.
Uzi.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Marnus Labuschagne, Nathan Lyon, Mitch Marsh, Michael Neser, Steve Smith as vice, Mitch Stark, Mitchell Swepson, and David Warner.
Yeah, a couple of very interesting picks there. I can't believe Steve Smith is on his way after the shock and Ashes series he had.
Really?
Didn't even turn up.
Didn't turn up.
I think it's interesting though. No, that was a joke, by the way. Just to clarify, that was a joke. Interesting the amount of spinners they've selected.
I'm very interested by this as well. I think going to the subcontinent is you can't just group it into one thing. Going to India, Sri Lanka, and going to Pakistan is completely separate.
Very, very different.
It's not just like you're going to get a spinner's paradise everywhere. So I'd be interested to see how the spinners go. And I wouldn't be fielding a super spin-heavy team, I think.
No. But again, Uzi's made it.
That's it.
So we're happy with it.
We're happy.
Shall we? Switch on?
Switch on. Switch on.
Alrighty, so switching on. Usually I have a couple of questions for you, but I've only got the one this week.
Mm-hmm.
But it is quite a long one, so stay with me if that's all right.
Okay.
So, talking stories that didn't go to plan, things that didn't quite go to script. This might be a bit of a stretch. It's kind of going in a slightly different direction, but I think it still fits the theme. So, if you have a problem with it, fuck you. Which of these one test wonders do you think is the unluckiest? I'd like you to rank them from most unlucky to least unlucky, but still unlucky.
Right.
If that makes sense. Yep. So I'll go through the players' names and then I'll give you a bit of background on them as well, just to put it into context for you. So Callum Ferguson, James Faulconer,
yep,
Chad Sayers,
yep,
John Hastings. So I'll start there with Callum Ferguson. So nearly 9,400 runs in 147 first-class games, averaged around 37. 20 centuries, 49 50s, played 30 ODIs, and just the one test match. So he was run out for 3 in the first innings. I don't know if I remember that. In 2016, I think it was.
I remember that was when Australia crumbled for like 60 or 90 odd, I think.
Yeah, it was against South Africa.
Down in Hobart.
So run out for 3, and then he made 1 in the second innings against a much better South African side.
I'm pretty sure like very few Aussie batsmen made over 10 that game anyway. Yeah. So there you go, Callum Ferguson. That's the first option. So very good first class career, and one poor test match and never looked at again. Yeah.
Second one is James Faulconer.
Yep.
So he played this is fucked. He played his last international match for Australia in 2017 at the age of 27.
He hasn't played for Australia since 2017.
No, apparently not. That's what I could be wrong, but that's what I looked up.
Wow.
That's so fucked. So 63 first-class games across 10 seasons. Respectable bowling figures. He had 192 wickets at an average of just under 25. Also scored nearly 2,600 first-class runs. An average just under 31.
Yeah.
So, I mean, pretty handy figures, and he had a ferocity that was just suited for test match cricket, apparently. Well, it should have been. He played in the 5th test match in the already lost 2013 Ashes series in England.
Yep.
Finished with 23 and 22 with the bat off it was around or on a ball.
Yep.
And finished with match figures of 6 4 98. Across both innings. So he got Ian Bell, he got Alistair Cook, he got Jonathan Trott.
Yeah,
pretty good scalps there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So James Faulconer, another unlucky one.
Okay, yeah.
pretty good first class career and then a pretty good debut.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Chad Sayers. He was around the mark for fucking ages.
Yes.
So first class figures, 320 wickets at 26.51. That's fucking insane.
It is very
That
good.
is such a good stat.
Yeah.
Where am I? 16 fifers and 3 tenfers across a match.
Yep.
Handy with the bat as well. 1,600 runs around 15. Fuck, I'd love to average 15. If you're in the side as a bowler, 15 runs, you fucking take that.
Yeah, absolutely. Not all rounder, but like,
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Mitch Starc is one of the best all-rounders in the world these days because he's handy with the bat. I mean,
True.
You take it. He didn't debut till 30 years old against South Africa. Again, South Africa, a much better South African side. And was that the Sandpaper Gate thing as well? Was that around that 2018? Yeah, it would have been, wouldn't it?
Was it?
Not important, not relevant.
Yeah, maybe.
Took 2 for 78 off 35 overs.
Respectable.
Economical as hell.
Yeah.
Got AB de Villiers out.
Yeah.
Didn't play again. Didn't play again after being so close to the mark for so long.
Yeah.
And then I told you this was a long question. Stick with me. And then John Hastings, as I mentioned, 239 first class wickets at an average of just over 27, and he got 2,200 runs at an average of just over 22. Again, I fucking love that batting average. 11 half centuries. I'd love a half century. Only test match was again against South Africa, which is weirdly enough. He only took 1 for the test, which is an ideal, and I think he went for quite a few runs in the second innings.
Yeah.
But he scored 32 and 20 with the bat, and he got AB de Villiers out. Another one that got AB de Villiers out on debut. So those are the ones that I've gone for, mate. If you could please rank them most unlucky to least unlucky, but still pretty unlucky. So
Okay, so does this question take into account their entire careers? Because some of these players have had very good international careers in the one-day format, just without playing Test cricket. Like, would you still consider that? Does that?
You can interpret that any way you like. I was just giving you a little bit of information just to kind of help you with a bit of context for it, so you could come to it. But you can interpret that any way you like, mate.
Okay. I think so. Out of the 4, Jimmy and Johnny Hastings as well. Both played a lot of games for Australia in terms of the one-day lineup.
Well, Faulconer was part of the World Cup team, wasn't he?
Correct.
It was Hastings as well?
I feel like he was.
I feel like he was around the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good point. It's a very good point.
So I think in terms of like your entire career, I wouldn't call it like unlucky. Some players just don't play much Test cricket. Nathan Bracken, Michael Bevan, just players that are very legends in Australian cricket, but just don't play much Test cricket. So I'd feel like I wouldn't call them unlucky. I mean, maybe because you sort of miss out on Test cricket, but I'd knock those 2 out.
Okay, yep, that's cool.
Wait, am I ranking? I'm not.
If you could rank them, yes, please.
Okay. So in terms of the most unluckiest, it would have to be out of Chad Sayers and Callum Ferguson.
Cal Ferguson did play a few. He played, what did they say, 31 days he played?
He did. Jeez. I feel like I'd have to go... Jeez. See, Cal Ferguson's been unlucky a few times, and he's sort of just copped the short end of the stick. Like, I remember he got sacked as captain of Sydney Thunder, just blindsided one year. He was doing very well. He was captain consistent, and he was sort of averaging a decent amount.
Yeah, no, I remember that season. Yeah,
and he literally just see you later, mate.
Once a gate, always a gate as well. That took embarrassingly long. I should have said that right at the very start.
But I think I'm gonna have to go with Chad Sayers.
I knew you would,
because I know how good of a bowler he is, and I know he's earned that title of being the most underrated bowler and being severely underrated. But just because you have a title, it doesn't mean anything. Like he is severely underrated.
Yeah.
and he never really got the chance to play for Australia in really the Test or One Day format to a respectable level. So I'll put him up there. I put Cal Ferguson close behind him.
Yep.
And then I would go probably Jimmy Faulconer and then Johnny Hastings, I reckon.
I had a feeling you'd say it in exactly that order.
Really?
Because I would have done the exact same fucking
Really?
thing. Yeah, 100%.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah. That interesting way of thinking about it as well, because obviously they've, with the exception of Chad Sayers, unfortunately, that they've both done, that all three of them have done, had some sort of success in the international level.
Correct.
With ODIs. So,
yeah.
No, interestingly put. Well done.
Thanks, mate. Okay. I've got 2 questions
Okay.
for Switch On. First one, hope you're ready. I'm sure you've been absolutely
I hate this already.
glued to the screen watching the Winter Olympics that are currently happening in Beijing. Take that as a yes.
Yeah.
So I'd like you to name 5 events that are currently taking place at the Winter Olympics.
Fucking hell. Curling.
Yes.
Ice hockey.
Yes.
Um,
Actually, wait, before you go on, I've realised that how am I going to judge if this is right or wrong if I
do
don't?
you not know either? Well, then I'll say ice basketball. Fuck, I don't know. Skiing? I assume there's 2 types of skiing. You got like a downhill one and then like a cross-country one.
Yeah.
And then snowboarding.
Right. Yes. Good job.
Well, is that right?
I'm sure like both skiing and snowboarding have like 50 events within them
within
each.
the one.
It's probably like saying running or something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Are you happy with that?
I'm more than happy with that.
You give me 5. Not kidding.
The same one. Ice cricket.
Ice cricket. Yeah, nice.
Can you imagine
Fuck,
that?
I'd pay to see that. Fuck. I think before I moved over from England, definitely played a few ice cricket games, mate. Let me tell you that.
Question 2. If you were Justin Langer and you were offered a job for the English cricket team as a coach, what would you do?
This is one of the stupidest parts about the whole thing. Absolutely, I'd fucking take it.
Yeah.
Abso-fucking-lutely. That's why I can't understand. There was rumours about it while he was still there. Abso-fucking-lutely, I'd take it.
Yeah.
He's exactly the kind of personality that England need in the test setting because it's been a shamble since, the last 5, 6, 7 years? I don't know.
Yep.
I'd be taking it. Yeah. Obviously, he's fallen out of love. Well, Cricket Australia fell out of love with him.
That's, very apparent.
I'd be saying, fucking stick it up, yeah.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah.
But again, I'm quite a different personality to yourself. So what would you say?
I think I still probably would take it. I think
For different reasons, though.
very different reasons. Definitely not. Like if it lined up with, I definitely wouldn't take it for the sake of pissing off Cricket Australia.
No, I don't think he would either. He's not that kind of person.
I think if it was like if I wanted the opportunity, if I wanted to be like, England had a rough tour here, let's see where we can take them. I want to build this. Then I think I would. It's an opportunity. And he's definitely still good enough to coach. So
absolutely, if he feels like he's still got more to give, absolutely, he might want to break. He might want to break for a bit. Obviously, It's been quite intense for best part of 4 years now.
Yeah.
So he might want to break. I think he might not.
If anything, right now is exactly when he wants a break. So yeah,
it's a bit like Alistair Clarkson.
Yeah.
He was like, oh well, he's done there. What's he going to do next? No, he wants a break.
Yeah.
Maybe he don't. I don't know. I'm just speculating here.
True. We'll wait and see.
What do you say? What do you reckon? Please comment down below. Justin Langer, next England coach?
It's likely. Who do you reckon is going to be next Aussie coach? We didn't talk about that, did we?
No, we didn't. Well, it's Andrew McDonald at the moment, isn't it?
I think
he's the interim coach.
I know Jason Gillespie sort of stated that he didn't want to be.
Can you fucking blame him?
No.
I don't know if anyone wants it.
Yeah.
Well, Paul Collingwood's the interim coach of England at the moment.
Is he?
Yeah, because what's his name? Stepped down. Silverwood, I want to say.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I don't know. A couple of interim coaches. Maybe they'll stick around. Maybe they'll run the show for a bit for this foreseeable future.
True.
Just adding to the speculation for no reason. What we've done here is waffle a bit. Should we get into my mate's multi?
Let's do it.
Pew!
Money! Money!
Okay, time for my mate's multi. Bob in your head?
Every time.
Every
My
time.
mate's multi. It's poetic.
Poetic.
I don't know.
I reckon I'll switch it up every. Well, I'll do a sneaky switch up, and then just so that your head bobbing like goes out of sync, and it'll be funny.
You're a dog. Just give us your legs, mate.
My legs from last week. We did touch on the fact that I may have screwed myself over, but leg one. The winner of the Under-19s World Cup will have more players starting with the letter A than the team they beat in the final.
I've just seen what you wrote next to this and I'm pissed off. You are not having this.
So India beat England, as we mentioned. Both sides have had one player that started with the letter A.
Yeah. I looked it up as well. I'm like, 1-1. He hasn't got it.
But if you include the bench, India have got another.
Yeah, that's why I'm pissed off because they get medals, don't they?
I think so.
So it counts.
Does it count?
Yeah, annoyingly it counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to give it to me, I don't know. All right, I'll take it.
You were ready for an argument, weren't you?
Yeah, I was happy to concede.
No, but I mean, I would have argued that if that was my leg, I would have gone, nah, they got a medal.
Yeah.
That's my reasoning for it.
Yeah,
Give it to me. So,
all right.
Have it, mate.
1 from 1. Leg 2. Alana King to have an economy rate of between 3.5 and 4 during the first ODI. No, it didn't happen.
No? Do you know what it was?
He's about 5 odd.
Oh, yeah.
She only bowled like 2 overs. Anyway, but
Actually, I think I watched this one.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well.
But 1 from 2. Leg 3. There will be at least 9 different news articles with the name Justin Langer in the title between now and next week. I didn't even bother checking or counting. That's how confident I am on this one. You happy to just give that one to me?
What happened with Justin Langer?
There was a bit. I'm not going to talk about it.
He's gone on holiday, has he? He's having a break. Told you. He's not going for the England job. Yeah, I'll give you that.
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Better than par.
It is. It is, absolutely. I'll run through mine.
Yep.
So, we will see a bombshell NBA trade before our next episode. So I mentioned the trade deadline is still a couple of days away.
Yeah, but yeah.
I'm giving myself this because I feel like bombshell it's all relative. It's quite subjective.
Correct.
So Ricky Rubio to the Pacers, along with a first and 2 second rounders in exchange for Karis LeVert and a second. Now, the reason this is a bombshell is because Ashwin's favourite player is Ricky Rubio.
I'm not sure if I've mentioned it before, but I absolutely love Ricky Rubio.
Have you actually mentioned it before?
I don't know. Maybe I haven't.
I didn't think you had. But then you said it so sarcastically. I'm like, what? Have you?
No, I don't think I have.
Okay, well, there you go.
That's the one and only NBA jersey that I own. Ricky Rubio.
And we bought it for you, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Timberwolves, Ricky Rubio.
Yeah. So, are you happy for me to have that?
It's a bombshell to me. So
yeah, cool. Love it. And then my other two, if you remember, were slight errors. They were a week out, so I repeated them for this week.
Yes.
I said that the West Indies will concede more than 354 runs against India in their first ODI.
Yeah.
No, India didn't need to score that many because they rolled them for 170 odd. So that didn't happen either.
No.
And then I said Virat Kohli will have not scored a century between now and the next episode. And that got up. I think he made 8 off 4. So, yeah, that drought continues.
The drought, yes.
Yeah, so 2 out of 3 as well. Well done.
Nice.
Well done.
It's almost like we've planned it.
Boom. I think we said, we did say because of how awful they were last episode, we're like, the only way is up, we're going to do so much better.
True.
With those legs. And
Did we both get 0 out of 3 last week?
I think so, or I got a stinky one.
That's right. Yeah, that was the only one that got up, and it was shit. Yeah. Absolutely. All right, legs for this week. At least, might be slightly controversial. At least one other member of the Australian cricket team, either on the board, managers, other coaches, etc., will resign before our next episode.
Okay. All right, I like it.
Mm-hmm. Leg 2. I will take a total of less than 4 wickets for the remainder of the Pels season.
Nah. I want that one to be wrong.
I'm quite confident in that, actually. I'm an outswing bowler, and I tend to go wicketless, or I get 1 wicket per game. That's like where I sort of...
Yeah, but he bowls 18 maidens in a row. And then he bowls 18 maidens over.
Leg 3. You will see at least one person in tears at the ground when Ben Cunnington makes his return to play another game for North Melbourne.
Is that one going to have had the opportunity to get up before our next episode?
Oh yeah, true.
That's right. We can keep that as a rolling leg if you like.
Okay, all right. I just got emotional when I saw the. Did you see that he came back to training? Like he underwent chemo, a second round of chemo, sort of late last year.
Yeah.
And he's sort of nowhere near fit enough to play now, but he was back, sort of just at training with the guys throughout the week. So it's very, very happy to see that. So
we've done sort of emotional comebacks before, haven't
correct,
we?
correct.
Yeah, with Majak Dor and Daniel Menzel, those kind of ones. Yeah, I can see how it's very easy to get emotional about it. It is. Cool. All right. So we'll have to work out what to do with that leg. We'll have to set a precedent of some kind.
Yes.
All right. My legs for this week. Virat Kohli will have not scored a century between now and our next episode.
You might as well just do 2 legs, I reckon.
Well, fucking you have.
Yeah, that's it. We've basically just done 2 legs each.
Virat Kohli will have not scored a century between now and our next episode.
Mm-hmm.
The Pels will have secured a home semi-final between now and our next episode.
Is that like guaranteed? Is that up in the air, or is that?
Well, it's fucking guaranteed now. It's in the fucking leg, bro. Don't worry about that. Okay, and leg 3. Someone will bet an outrageous amount of money on their pick for the 2022 Brownlow medalist between now and our next episode, before footy season starts.
Like it'll be newsworthy, like it'll be on a headline.
Yeah, it'll Sportsbet's Facebook page will put it up there. Going, have a look at this punter. He's put
in
10 grand on Dyson Heppel
to
win the Brownlow.
Yep, that actually sounds very, very likely.
What? Because you reckon all Bombers supporters are nuffies?
No.
We said we weren't going to do opinions anymore, bro. What's going on?
What was that? What I said about context before? Is that
what? How you're always out of it? Oh shit! Alrighty, that's going to do it for this week, and that's going to do it for the next few weeks, guys. And for cricket season, we hope you've enjoyed our first attempt at a full season. I was going to say full cricket season, a full season of anything. We haven't done that before.
Yeah, like such a long stretch. I mean, we obviously did take a couple of weeks off here and there.
We're not going to talk about why.
We're not going to talk about why, but yeah, I think we've
done a full first, because we returned halfway through footy season last year.
Yeah.
So we went through the rest of that pretty strongly, and then cricket season, we were there for the start and we were there for the finish. So
yeah.
We hope you've enjoyed it. It's a bit of a more difficult to kind of do than footy season, because it's all one league. It's all kind of building up to the big day, and then it happens. Whereas a lot more happenings with cricket, a lot more leagues, and a lot more different series.
And
so
it's, obviously footy season, you've got week in, week out. You've got each round. It's very easy to sort of do something. Whereas with tests and stuff, it's sort of the timing doesn't always link up. And,
it does present a different challenge. But yeah, if you haven't figured it out by now, we're taking a couple of weeks off. That it might have been clear in the My Mates multi legs that we put in there. We're gonna return footy season just before footy season, all guns blazing, and it's gonna be fucking bang 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 bang. It's gonna be non-stop. So we want to make sure that we're rested and ready to fucking give it all, because I don't know about you, but I am keen to keep this momentum going.
Yep. Might even play around with the set.
Ooh. Maybe the set, maybe new segments, who knows?
Ooh,
anything is possible.
My goodness.
Oh, that's a big promise. That's a big promise to not deliver on.
As long as you don't promise anything to do with audio issues or anything like that.
Why have you done it again?
I thought if I did it twice, it would
cancel out.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
obviously there's still a little bit of cricket happening, so we'll touch on obviously the Pels. People love hearing about the Pels and a bit of domestic cricket and stuff. So it'll be part of the headlines like we have done with Run It Back throughout cricket season. So yeah, I don't know how to wrap this up. I thanks for your support throughout cricket season. We've hit a couple of ridiculous milestones that we didn't think we were going to, and we have all you guys to thank for it. So appreciate that. Anything you want to add, mate? Anything you want to kind of say to the people?
Keep kicking goals.
If that doesn't tell you footy season's around the corner, I don't know what does. Take care, guys.